In this video, I'll be talking about The Last Dance and why fashion in the 90s was so different from fashion right now and what has actually changed and how these guys looked back in 1997, 1998. If you haven't watched the documentary on Netflix called Last Dance about Jordan and the Bulls, go and check it out. I'll link it down in the description as well. And let's dive into their own styles and how different it was to what it is right now. So I was trying to figure it out if I've got a jacket in my closet that is kind of nowhere near or anywhere near to what the guys from the Bulls were wearing back in the day. And you know what? I couldn't find anything. I mean, just look at some of the jackets that Michael Jordan, for instance, had, and the entire suits. It was very much the style of the late 90s. But I think he took it up a notch. I don't know whether you've seen, but on some of the pictures, some of the footage from the movie, actually you can see how the pleats were formed on the front of his trousers, of course, and the legs were enormous. It was as if there was like two suits, material for two suits were put into one, and somehow it was kind of the biggest one that they can possibly get on him. And it was for years like that. And you can also probably, just watching The Last Dance, you may think that it's actually Jordan's style on his own, and that's his kind of way of dressing up. But as soon as you look at Pippen, and as soon as you look at Kukoc and other people from around the same area, it's crazy how obvious it is, how different and baggy those suits were. Unreal. Unreal. One thing that is very obvious from the documentary as well, back in the 90s, for those folks who have not lived through that and kind of are young to not be able to see this, was that a lot of players were actually wearing suits when they were off court and when they were going to the game or when they were at the locker room. You can easily see all the footage from Last Dance showing actually, the Pippins and the Rodmans and the Jordans of this world actually dressing off the suit. So putting down in the closet, putting the gear on, play the game. After the game, they change it back into a suit. Whereas obviously in the modern day, you will see a lot more younger players just dressing casually, wearing sneakers, wearing Yeezys and things like that, just so they can kind of show their unique personality rather than a take from a tailor on how they should look like. So that's a huge difference between what was happening before and now. Even places like Esquire and GQ wrote about this. I'm going to link some of the articles down in the description as well, so you can kind of read and have your own opinion about this. But in Michael's defense, he could have worn anything back in the day, and no doubt he'll be still considered the best player in the world. And no doubt people are still going to look up to him. No doubt he would still sell gazillions of Nikes and McDonald's and whatever he was advertising at that time. It was to his defense that he was also wearing something that is loose fit. That's how he would describe it these days. Very often these days, players, especially footballers and other sports people that I work with, they're usually going for extra slim fit, something that it's kind of as tight as it possibly can be, because that's the look, that's the fashion, that's how different they want to be from their peers in the 90s and the early 2000s. So it was definitely an era in men's fashion, in influencers like Jordans and people like that wearing off the court and wearing to the game. But now, of course, everything's changed. Everything is stretchy, slim, showing ankles, showing lots of kind of muscle, defined tone. That's what we create here in Liverpool for our celebrities and our footballers. But you can see that that's no doubt the trend all over the world as well. So to sum up all this Last Dance weird attire, if you ask me, and if you kind of come in from this from a perspective of I would like to watch a bit of a Jordan in action, because I haven't lived through that for those years, and I wonder who's the best player, whether that's Kobe, whether that's LeBron, or whether that's Michael Jordan, and you want to just see how different he was. You want to watch this, and all of a sudden you watch this and you think, what was wrong with the fashion back in the 90s. God. But that's what it was. It was a period. Right now, even if you look at the latest pictures from Jordans, of course, with Pippen, they just look the part right now. Very slim fit. They're still kind of, both of them are fairly athletic, especially Pippen, I think, is still in top-notch shape. So you can see that he's obviously wearing something that fits him properly, as opposed to just comfort and big and bagginess. I mean, no doubt they could even play a game in that suit. It was that loose and it wouldn't restrict their movements at all. Whereas obviously these days the suits are so slim fit that if you eat a burger, your button would pop. That's how slim fit they are. So it's obviously all depends on the area you living through and living in to decide what sort of style you want. But I challenge anyone to go back and see if in their wardrobe they may have still some old suits like the ones that Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen would wear. So let me know in the comments if you've got one of them, or you know someone that would actually still be able to pull that out from their wardrobe and actually wear it. I'd love to see that. I think that documentary could be a little spark for someone to start wearing those suits again. I think it would be appreciated. It wouldn't be laughed at. I wouldn't laugh. I would congratulate that person. So if you know anyone who still wears that suit and will actually pick it right now, as opposed to going for the more slim fit modern look, let me know. I'd love to meet them. I'd love to shake their hands virtually. It'll be fantastic to see it. So let me know what you think of Last Dance. Let me know what you think about the 90s style as well, and whether that's something you are laughing at or kind of looking at with a bit of a nostalgia. Stay stylish. Till next time.